Air compressor and staple and nail guns. So this is our air compressor, and the part we need to work with mainly is right in here at these valves. Okay, so we're going to take a look at that right now. So when you go retrieve the compressor, first thing to do, take the blue air hose off. It should be wrapped up in a loops like so. And then we have to plug the air compressor in. Okay, so unwrap that, bring this over, plug in, and plug it in. Don't be alarmed if it starts. Okay, it's got an auto start on it when it is short of air. So this little lever right here, that needs to be in the horizontal position. That means it's on automatic. These gauges right here, you don't have to worry too much about those, but we need them both around 100 pounds. Okay, if they're not around 100 pounds, they won't pound the nail in. And then this is a coupling that the hose goes into. Okay, so to take the hose apart, if it's connected, just pull back on this coupling, okay, right here. Just pull back and it'll release. Now this end right here, this silver end, goes into this brass coupling on the compressor. It needs to go straight in. It's got 100 PSI, okay, pounds per square inch, okay, pushing out. So you have to put that in nice and straight, not at an angle like that, it won't go in. Nice and straight. Push it in. Give it a little pull just to make sure it's in before you let go of the hose, because there still may be pressure there, and if it's not in and you let go, the hose could come up and hit you in the face. Now, this end is where we're going to attach the nailer and the stapler, depending on which one we're using. Okay, now we'll talk a little bit about the nailer and the stapler. They look very similar. I've marked on ours so that you can determine it very quickly which one's the nailer and which one's the stapler. We'll talk about the nailer first. Oftentimes I'll call this a brad nailer or a pin nailer. Same thing. Couple of things on it, safety feature wise, is this little red plunger, that's the safety. That has to be pushed in onto the piece of material before the trigger will release a nail. If you go like that and then you move it, you're going to have to go like that again. Okay? So that's the main safety feature on it. Again, don't point this at yourself, don't point it at anybody else when you're loading it and that kind of thing. In regards to loading it, it's got an orange plunger here at the back. Just push that in. It opens up the magazine. In this case, I have 1-inch nails in there, which are going to be a little short for what I'm going to do in the demonstration. So we'll take those out, and we want to go with, those are inch, and I want 1.25 inches. So I don't need a lot, I'll just take a partial sleeve, take those 1.25 inch nails, put them points down, like so, and then close the magazine. Now, if you look closely, you'll see that the nail comes out right there. Not right at the tip, okay? You'll see the little opening, okay? That's where the nail's going to come out. At the back, okay, this is where we have our connector for our air hose. So, take the air hose, pull back the coupling, just like hooking up the compressor, okay, and put it straight on like so. Wiggle it, make sure it doesn't come off, and you're in good shape. Now, another safety thing is always make sure you know what length of nails you're using, and you keep your hand at least that distance away. So in this case, we're using 1.25 inch nails, okay, just to nail this corner together. Therefore, when I'm holding it in place, I want to make sure that my fingers are at least 1.25 inches away in case the nail deflects and comes out, or I miss the wood, or whatever the case may be. Just make sure your fingers are 1.25 inches away. Now, will I use glue? Yeah, I'll use glue on this one. Glue bottle's a little full. And I'll arrange that so you can see that. Oh, it's still plugged. Unplug that, there we go. All right, so put a little glue on the end. You don't have to smear it, like so. Put your two pieces together, just like that. Okay, the nails are the clamp. Okay, they don't add a lot of strength, but they hold it in place while the glue dries. So take your nail gun. You want your nail to go kind of in between the two surfaces here. Okay, we don't want it too far off to this edge or too far off this way. So take it, plunge it in, pull the trigger. Plunge it, pull the trigger, and final one. Okay, and that's all there is to it. Okay, and then just wait for that glue to dry. Okay, you might build the whole box or whatever you're building first. Okay, and then we do some more work on it later on once the glue is dry. So that is the nailer. Okay, now we're going to look at the staple gun, so we'll clear this stuff out of the way. To release this, okay, hold on to the gun, hold on to the coupling at the back, and pull the knurled part, the part with all the little diamond pattern on it. Pull that part back, just with your thumb and index finger. Hold on to everything, and there you go. Now, the stapler is fairly similar, looks similar, however it loads a little bit differently. So again, push this little plunger at the back, and then it's going to reveal the magazine on the underside. You can see we have our staples, which we are going to use for this demo, this length. So take it, put the staples in, point facing up, close the magazine, and that's ready to go. On this one, you can see right here, that's where the staple comes out. Here is our safety, okay, that part that plunges. Okay, so that's pretty much ready to go. We'll add some air to it. So in the same fashion, okay, make sure these two go together straight or they won't go together. Pull that knurled part back and plunge it straight onto the connector. So, staple gun is ready. Now, a couple of things when you're stapling. You want to, again, keep your hands safe distance away. And if you're let's say we want to nail this piece to this piece. I would maybe give myself a mark here, okay, and a mark back here. Then when I go to flip this over, what I can do, make sure this mark is right on my center, make sure this mark is right on my center, and if you wanted to, you could draw a line. Okay, it doesn't have to be dead on, but it's got to be fairly close to the center, like that. Then you have a guide for where your staples are going to go. So take your glue, put a bead of glue down, take this piece, put it in place roughly, put it in place roughly. Now, come back here, make sure it's nice and flush, right here, centered. Take your stapler, come in about 1 inch. Now, make sure you remember where that nail is coming out. That nail is coming out right, oh. There we go, set up again. That nail is coming out right here, so we want this part on the line. Take it, hold it straight up and down, nail, get your center at the back all lined up, and nail, nail, nail. And that's all there is to it. Okay? That way you shouldn't have any staples sticking out the sides, okay, which we would have to deal with later. Okay, so that's a staple gun in that situation. Okay, and that's pretty common. If this was rabbited and we were fitting the piece in here, okay, same thing. We'd get it all in position, put a bead of glue down, and nail along here. Okay, so basic operation. Take the staple gun, get it lined up, plunge it down, pull the trigger. You do not want to miss your line, or else you end up with nails out there, okay, or staples out there, which are a pain to deal with. So we try not to have to deal with it. Okay, and so that's doing that part. Now, in regards to putting a back into, let's say this was a full cabinet, and we have our rabbet right here, and we want to place that back in. First of all, we don't use glue, and second of all, we use shorter staples. So we don't have to disconnect the air, open the magazine, take out those staples, and we're going to use, let's use 3/4 for that. Okay, so we have some 3/4 inch staples. We'll put those in. Okay, so I'll drop those 3/4 inch staples right in there, like so. Now, when you're nailing this, I'll try and do it in reverse so it's easy to see. Okay, we put our 1/4 inch piece of plywood in our rabbet. Don't use glue on the back or bottoms typically. Take it. Now, got it in there. Now you're going to have to, don't nail straight down. You're going to have to angle. You remember that staple's got to go into the meat of the wood. So, like so. So. Like so. And that way, we don't end up with any nails coming out here, or staples, I mean, coming out here. And we have to judge it so that we don't have any staples coming out there. And that's the way we nail a back into place. And that's basically it. When you go to disconnect these tools, make sure that you hold on to the hose, okay, while you're disconnecting so it doesn't go flying. Okay, pull the coupling back. There's that. And same thing over on the compressor. Wrap the cord up, or the hose up. Okay, put it back in the compressor, unplug the compressor, and put it back where it belongs. There, that's the compressor and the staple and nail gun.